we're going to complete the router table stand. Next. I'm Rick, and this shut the heck up, you stinking roosters. For your sanity. This is the shack. Everybody, welcome. Diving right into it. We're getting busy. So much going on in the shack. Make sure you're subscribed and look up here. I will have playlist of a bunch of stuff going on. This video, yes, we're going to complete this. Kind of screwed up on the first set. We're going to remake these. This video, last video, we finished up the drawers. As you can see, it's all done, all painted. We're good to go. So we're just going to dive into it. Let's get the router table set up and let's get busy. As you see, I went ahead and painted the cabinet, gave it a quick coat of gray. As you saw earlier, I filled in all the screw holes, sanded everything down. You see the drawers here. The profile I will paint black, but the inside of the drawers, this part on all these I painted. And let's check out the doors real quick. If you look at it, I don't know what I did. There must have been debris or something. All I can think of is when I first went to square the edges, I set them up on my table saw, put them in the miter, ran it across just to shave off a little bit to smooth it out. Somehow, as you can see, it was at an angle, so these aren't straight no more. They're kind of weird. This one you can see goes way up. Higher here, lower here. So I don't know what I did. So I decided I'm going to bust these apart, remake the doors. So let me go and get my stock cut and I'll be right back. Now before I start the milling process, I want to verify that my rails are indeed cut to the proper length. Remember, my overall length for the doors are the same width as my drawers. That is 19¼ inches. That way everything stays in line with everything else. And that is including, and this is just something I've always done, I like a 3-card gap. That's just something I've always done. So for me to figure out, to make sure my rails are correct, I assemble it this way and I measure. So if there's any need, I take a little bit off all 4 of these, not just one side, but all 4, remeasure until I get to my exact measurement. I'll put a link up here to a video that shows you how you use the blade on your chop saw or your miter saw, 20 to 30 thousandths per cut. I show you how to do that. And that's what I do with this. I shave it down until I get to my perfect measurement. Now, these have not been milled yet, so I have 3/8 on either side that will be coming off once I mill them. So I got 3/8 here, 3/8 here, 3/8 here, 3/8 here. That's 3/4 of an inch on this one, 3/4 of an inch on this one. My overall length, once these are milled, needs to be 19¼ inches. So if I add 3/4 of an inch for this side, that brings that to 20 inches. 19¼ plus 3/4 is 20. Add 3/4 of an inch more on this side, that brings my overall length as it sits here should be 20 3/4. And I am dead on 20 3/4. And that is with this little gap. So once I mount these, that's what I should have, and that's the way it will look. Something I've always done, a 3 business card thickness there. So now we can start the milling process. Now the first thing I need to do, I need to get my bit in here and kind of get it set up so I can get my sled set up. I'm using one of the original inserts that came with the lift, smallest hole, because I want something to cover this while I'm not using it. It's just the way I am. Pop it open and I can pull that out of there. Unlock this. The profile will cut first. We're going to do the end grain cuts. You do these first, so when you have them cut, then you can set the profile up more easily with this and get it set really, really close. Now, one thing you don't want to do, you don't want to have this all the way down, tighten it up. You have this little bead right here, this ridge. You want it about 1/8 of an inch. So you want it just about a 1/16 or so below that. I like to tighten it by hand just so it won't drop in there. So now I can adjust exactly where I want it. And that's good right there. Good. Get my sled. Now reposition the camera, hopefully give you guys a little better view of this. There's a couple ways you could do this. Some people, depending on the profile, will look down here where the profile drops and go just a little bit below that. So that profile, when it rounds over, will have a little bit of a ledge here. Or some people will take this and go about 1/8 of an inch here, mark it, and get the bottom of the bit on that. They want just 1/8 of an inch. I think it's personal preference. I have this sitting about where I want it. It's right there. See, it's just a little bit below. That's about 1/8, but I got the profile here right about there. So I'm going to give it a test cut there. I think that's where I want it. So I'm going to lock this in so it does not move on me. Yeah, I have to be careful. I want to watch the carbide tips, so that fits in there. That's perfect. So now what do I have to do is I'm going to bring my fence up and set it up. I use my ruler here, my steel ruler on the fence here, and I go back till it just touches. Basically what I'm looking for is it to hit but doesn't have enough pressure to roll the bearing, and the bearing's rolling but it's not rolling when I use this. So I just have enough past it where I want it. And that is it. We're basically set. Now I got my test piece in here. Now we're ready. Let me hook my dust collection and we can do our test cut. As you see, that's our profile. I'll go in. Actually, it looks pretty good. Not bad. Look at that by the blade. There's absolutely nothing. That dust collection works so well. I am exceedingly pleased. So let's switch out the blade and get it set up for the next cut. So you guys make sure you see it. I have my blade set that's really, really close. That looks very, very close, so we'll leave it right there for now and we'll do a test cut. So let me get the fence all set up and we'll do our test cut. Well, I have to do this over because the last time I recorded this, I forgot to turn on my microphone. So just to remind you of something, now when I had these up, I actually forgot to mark on the inside. So I got arrows in, so I know this is the edge I want to profile. I wanted to show you this B and B here. Get back here, it focuses in. Sweet. So I'm going to run one more through so you can see me do it. This is the inside, so I want to make sure that's against the fence. Let me turn it on and run it through. I have my little push block that I have just for this. That way I can keep my fingers away, push against the fence, and these feather boards keep it down. And it's got a little hook on the back, just enough to pull this through. And the only reason is because I just don't feel comfortable because if this is in the way, but trying to push this in there with these on does make it a little bit difficult. If it's a little bit wider, I could do it, but this makes it very nice and handy. So I'm gonna back this off, start everything up, and do another cut and show you. And that will go in right there and right here. Beautiful, beautiful. So that'll work out really, really nice. I got to profile all these, so I'm going to go off camera, get all these cut, rails and stiles, and we'll be right back. With the profile cut into my doors now, I'm going to cut the panel to fit in. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go edge to edge on this profile here, and I'm going to cut my panel to fit. This is 8 3/8, and this is right there 6 inches. That'll give a little wiggle room, plus the fact I am putting the little space balls in there. Let me set up my table saw. I'm gonna cut these down to fit, and then we can assemble this, because this came out really, really nice. Actually better than the first time. Second time around is doing really good. Have my panels cut. If I did it right, it actually should fit right inside here. So let me hold this tight. Perfect. Let's head back over to the table saw, put my mat down, let's start gluing this up. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to just put a little mark a little ways back on here, just so I know I'm not going to get the glue past that. And it's just going to go on the ends here as we put it together. Doesn't need anything else anywhere. I'm going to put a little glue in here and glue here, and that is it. So I'm just going to go where that line is. I don't want to go past that. All right, I'll get the other one glued up. We're gonna let that set. Almost forgot to show you. I flipped it over. It was off just maybe a 1/16. This side actually wasn't flush, so I had to move it down a little bit. Glad I checked, but it said I am at 15 3/8 on the nose. 15 3/8 dead on the nose. So now that is completely square. I'm gonna let that set. Even on these, you gotta square them. And I'm glad, because this stile was just a little bit past the rails. It wasn't smooth here. So I had to tighten it down a little bit to bring it down. Now I got perfect square. Don't have a lot of pressure. Just make sure the joints are staying here, because I have that space balls in the middle here. They flex, so this will keep it from wanting to push away and let it dry. It had a little gap, so I made sure I tightened them. Not real tight, just enough to close the gap and let that set and dry. Really nice. I like this. As you saw earlier, I try to do the corners first, then I run the profile around the rest. That way when I come to the end, I can slow down, go around, and there's no chance of blowout, because I've already taken care of the corners. Now all I'm going to do is famous little transitional sanding block. Check up there, I'll have a link to that. And I literally just take out a little bit of the feathering that happens, and I go on top here, and then I go down the bottom like that. I just go around all 4 corners. And that's it. I have to sand. I forgot to sand this side. I got them all sanded until I went to do the profile, flipped it over like, whoops. So I got to hook up the sander again, do this side. I'm gonna go ahead and paint these. Let me get this done and we'll be right back. Well, there we have it. That is it. We are officially done. Got my drawers done, got the trim painted, have the handles put on them. I got stuff in the drawers already. Nice. Doors open up. There's my dust collection. I get in there, change the speed of the router and get some of the dust that doesn't come out, that gets left in there. All done. Looks pretty good, fantastic. I really like these railing style doors. I am very impressed. This whole table is just amazing. I got no words for it. Check up here, I'll have a link to this complete build and all the updates in the shop. We can officially call this done. Thank you so much for watching. Be blessed. Take back your check. Hold it for your sanity. Man, I'm just happy. I am just happy and I'm very excited. Make sure you're subscribed because we got many more videos coming out. Thanks again for watching. We will see you next video.